It is raining again. My name is Nick. Welcome back to Cabin View Firewood. I've got the day off today, so I want to get as much work done as possible, but it is raining again. It has been raining almost non-stop for 2 weeks now. We really needed the rain. We were in a pretty bad drought here in south central Pennsylvania. We had some wildfires going on, but all this rain when I'm trying to get work done is a little bit of an inconvenience. So it was not raining last night. I thought ahead. I got prepped for today. I'm going to be working underneath I keep calling this my equipment shed. Right now I only have the log splitter in here because I got the carport done. So we're actually going to go down there and check that out in a minute. But last night, what I did, right before it got dark, I brought up 2 bucket loads of logs. That's some pretty big stuff, so we'll get quite a bit of firewood out of that. I've got a bunch of big rounds over there that need split up. I've got a basket of campfire wood that needs topped off. I've got another basket that needs processed. And I've got another basket over here of bundle wood that needs topped off. And then I've got a couple empty baskets that will hopefully get in here and start getting them filled up. So, I've got plenty of work up here. I know it doesn't look like a whole lot, but there is plenty up here to stay busy all day long. These big rounds can take a little bit of time to break down and split. It's kind of a mix of oak, a little bit of poplar, which I'll use for probably kindling. So we're going to do a lot of work on the Wolf Ridge 35 high output today. All right, let's run through the rain here and go check out the carport. Now, I did not film finishing the carport. All I had to do was get the roof on it over the weekend, and it did not go as planned. So this was one of those projects where I got up in the morning, I said, I'm just going to get the roof on this thing, get it done, and it ended up being a lot more difficult than I expected. So here's the finished carport. So this was the Cherry Industries 12 feet wide, 20 feet long. It's the biggest carport I could fit in this spot. And 2 people, I think, could easily get this done in one day as long as you have a nice level pad. The hardest part to do by yourself is the roof. Just because of the spacing between each archway, it's about 5 feet. So you can't reach all the way from one side to the other. And these panels just want to slide away on you as you're putting them up. So having somebody that can hold one side while you square up the other side and screw it down, make this job go a whole lot faster. But it all came together pretty nice. It's squared up easy. And I think this is going to hold up pretty well for a long time. Now, it was either 1 or 2 videos ago where I showed you guys I had that last archway completed. And I ended up taking that off and completely redoing it. So what I did is I followed the instructions with how they wanted these panels laid together. And what they had was just one little lip. Right, so just this little piece right here is all they wanted for overhang on each panel, not even this whole section here. So as I did that first row back there, you could see daylight between, like right there is where a panel joins. You could see daylight between every single one of them. And I knew that rain was easily going to get in there. And I was going to have some major leaks because how these panels go on, you can see how the ridges run. So the rain hits them, stops, and then, you know, is going to run towards the front or the back. So it's just an easy place for water to collect and leak into the building. So I wanted to have more of an overhang. So I ended up taking all the panels off. I actually did the whole center row. I was able to measure them out and get them almost perfect all the way down. So did the peak of the roof first and then worked my way down each side. Now the top was easy to get on by myself because you've got a ridge beam that runs down. So you've got some support for each panel. Much easier to do by yourself. But as you work your way down, you're trying to line everything up. And like I said, they just kind of slide away on you. So get a helping hand and this project will go much faster. And then I'll have to figure out how I'm going to squeeze the excavator in here. It's going to be tight, but I think I can get it done. So that'll be really nice to have that storage for the equipment so I can make some more room up here just for firewood. Actually, hopefully just for storage. I plan on doing all my cutting and log storage down there. And as I get everything cut up, drive it on up the hill and just start lining up baskets all the way down through here. We're gonna cut this bank way back, so we'll have a lot of storage back there. And then I'll get this building out of the way, and this should be a pretty big area that gets half decent sun, good wind, so it should be a good place to dry out firewood. All right, let's get set up and get the processing. Now, if you are new to the channel and you enjoy firewood content, hit that like button, subscribe, and send me some comments. I'd love to hear where you guys are from. Are you in the firewood business? Maybe you're a homeowner that burns for heat or recreational. Maybe you just enjoy watching firewood content. I'd love to hear from you, and I appreciate you all being here. So let's get to work. All right, got those 2 bucket loads split up. Now I'm gonna divide up this. Some of this needs split down a little bit. Some of it's ready to be stacked. Some of it needs cut down to the right length and split. So, but this stuff is all sold. I am just customizing this order a little bit for one of my customers. Actually, let's bring the rack in. I'll just load that up. That'll be perfect. All right, we got the wagon for the stuff that's going to get stacked. The stuff that needs cut, we'll put right into here. A lot of this stuff was like, 20 inches plus. I don't want anything longer than 18. That one's actually close. All right, guys, here's a little update. So far, I got those 2 bucket loads split and stacked. I am filling campfire totes a whole lot faster than bundle totes. So I didn't make a whole lot of progress on that bundle tote. Almost completely filled that basket. Well, technically it's filled, but I overfill them like this one here. So we topped this one off, got that one loaded up, added a little bit to the bundle tote, and got a couple of these big logs back here split up. Also got that tote emptied out and processed and stacked over there. That is a sold rack I am completing. It's got about a half cord in it right now, so I just have to get the other half in there, and then I'm going to actually deliver that to the customer next month, and he's going to finish seasoning it. But what we're going to do now is put the Wolf Ridge 35 high output to the test. I think we're going to do that maple. That log right there is 29 inches. That one is about 19, but it's got a big knot on it. So let's see if we can split this and get that knot separated, and then try to split that knot up. Should get some good bundle wood out of that one. And then the knot, hopefully I can split down and throw into the campfire bundle there. So this is almost all maple. I threw a little bit of poplar in there just to get rid of it. I've got a couple poplar logs left. So making good progress. But the Wolf Ridge 35 high output, I got this, I don't know, it's been over 6 months now. But it's been a great splitter. It handles everything I throw at it. It's nice and heavy duty, 35 ton. The only thing I wish I would have done is got the external oil cooler. You can actually add them. Bob just did a nice video on some of the accessories for the 28 and the 35 high output. So I might end up doing that. We'll see, especially in the summertime. It doesn't take long to get this thing hot enough to the point that it needs to start cooling down that hydraulic fluid. So, you know, you can run this thing for a couple hours at a time easily. So being able to keep that hydraulic fluid nice and cool is vital to the longevity of these machines. So we'll see what all it entails, but that might be an upgrade I do in the near future here. All right, let's get that maple log. That thing is extremely heavy, by the way. That log is probably pushing 200 pounds. So it's going to be everything I can muster up to get that thing onto the log lift here. And then it's going to be fun trying to maneuver that around. But let's see how this splits. All right, fire the splitter up. It's already nice and warm. I just shut it off. driving right through this knot. It's not even slowing the splitter down. One more. That'll do it. All right, that is going to wrap things up for today. Probably in my next video, I'm going to get back to work on that big pile of logs that I have out front. I need to get them moved because I have another triaxle load coming in a few weeks, and then I should be in pretty good shape for a while. So we're going to get to work on that really soon. All right, guys, thanks for joining me. I appreciate you all being here, and I will see you on the next one.